What's up, everybody? Welcome to Brandon's Face. It's the podcast about a playlist. I'm Jonathan Beardsley.
And I am Brandon May.
Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're all doing well. On this week's episode, we're going to be talking about new releases from blink-182, Martin Solveig, Sampha, Knuckle Puck, Dreamwell, and a lot more. But before we do, any music news you got for me this week?
Yes, actually. We have the official announcement of the album Moon Healer from Job for a Cowboy.
Oh boy.
Which is their first album in quite a while since Sun Eater, I believe, is the album title of their last one.
When
February.
did that come out?
Shit, man, it's been a long time. Let's find out. But this one is scheduled for release on February 23rd, 2024. Okay. That's exciting.
Yeah, new Job for a Cowboy is always something to look forward to.
Yep. The last album of theirs, which is called Sun Eater, was released in 2014. So we're going on 7 years now?
No, I think like 9.
9 years. I can do math.
Yeah. Yeah, you're good at math. Don't sell yourself short. That's fucking awesome. We will definitely be reviewing that. I think we've gotten one single from it so far. I would imagine we'll get at least one more before then. That should be a lot of fun, though.
Yeah, man. I'm excited for that one.
I think Majid Jordan also announced a new album today. It's coming out on November 3rd. We should be getting a new single this week.
That's quick.
Yeah, really quick for them.
Yeah.
We will be covering all of those albums. Those sounds like a lot of good music's coming up.
Yes, 2024 is already starting to look good.
It is. We will have to do a most anticipated a little later on this year.
Yep.
All right, before we get into the new albums, let's talk about the new singles and EPs that dropped this week, starting with my song of the week. You already knew that. It's the new one from Kaliuchis, Temada, the first single off of her new upcoming album. That's assuming Munakita is not going to make it, but we'll see. This one is incredible, man. I don't know if you caught the music video for it, but it's beautiful. I love it. What about you?
Yeah, she just has such a beautiful voice, and the aesthetics with this cover art and the video just bring it all together, man. This track it's just exquisite, man. The strings, the drums, the atmosphere. It actually got me pretty hyped for the album.
Those fucking strings are beautiful.
Yeah, the video is so good.
Yeah, that's one of her best videos yet, and that's saying something. I feel like all of her videos have been pretty great.
Right.
All right, we got a new one from Charlie XCX and Sam Smith called In the City. It sounds like Charlie XCX featuring Sam Smith, but it's also kind of a banger. What'd you think?
Yeah, man, Sam Smith just sounds so good over a house beat, man.
Yeah.
Charlie sounds good too, but the production and Sam actually steal the show on this one.
Yeah, I agree. At first, I was kind of assuming that wouldn't be the case, but the more I listen to it, the more I feel like the beat is the real winner on that one.
Yep.
Got a new one from Mika. It's the new single off his upcoming album. The single's called Apocalypse Calypso. I'm liking it. I'm not loving it. What about you?
Turns out I know literally zero French. It doesn't matter, though, because I did like this track. Sure.
Yeah, man, we will definitely be covering the album. I'm a huge fan of his. This track just didn't do it for me, or has not yet, I should say.
That's fair.
Got a new one from Caroline Polachek called Dang. This one gets better every time I listen to it. It's a little bit trappier than some of her last stuff, but I really enjoyed it. I think she performed this live on one of the late night shows, and that performance of it really, really brought it all together for me. Are you enjoying this one?
Yeah, I don't like the weird sample she chose to work with on this track, but everything else about it is great. Like, her voice is great, the production is good. It's just that one sample that's just recurring that kind of shied me away from it.
Fair. Got a new one from Timbaland and Anna Margot called My Way. Good beat, great voice. A bit derivative, even if it's of his own music. But I don't know, man. Is this one doing anything for you?
It's just typical Timbaland, man. I like his production, but I feel like some of the samples he uses just feel dated.
Yeah, this feels like an AI just listened to him and Aaliyah for 100 hours and made a new song. But again, it sounds fine.
Yep.
Got a new one from Cascade and Emmett Finn called Brighter. Was not what I was expecting. I really like the live drum sound on this one, but it's probably not a track I'll be rushing back to, I should say, before Redux 6 comes out. What about you?
Yeah, man, this is not your typical Cascade Redux track, but I gotta say, I actually really enjoy the shake up a little bit. It's got a lot of atmosphere, and like you said, the live drum sound is real neat.
Yeah, agree. Got a new one from Drama and Flight Facilities called Dollar Short. I found this track because Flight Facilities are on it, but I got to check out the rest of this EP or album whenever it drops after hearing this one. It's super catchy, great bass line, and really fun to listen to. Are you enjoying it too?
As is tradition from Flight Facilities, we get some groovy production, and I'm assuming Drama brings all these vibes that I'm feeling. So, big fan of this one.
I am as well. Got a new one from Alice in Wonderland and Quicks called Wake Up. How are you feeling about it?
This is a little bit more minimal than we've heard from Alice in Wonderland in the past, but
It is.
I think she's making it work. I love that she's just doing her own thing.
Yeah, man. She just continues to impress with every new release. I feel like this might be her first song post-pregnancy, but really good.
Nice.
Enjoying it quite a bit. Got a new one from Lane 8, which feels like I'm saying that sentence every week now, so I'm loving that. This one is featuring Grigore. It's called Pipi Dormir. I like it, but I also think it's a little boring. Don't shoot me. It's never happened, fans, for saying that. What about you, as a big Lane 8 fan? Is this on the good side or the kind of meh side for you?
I like it. I think that the melodies that he works with just hit me. You know, like
Yeah,
it just is what it is, man. I think I just stand lane 8.
your heart beats at 128
My
ppm.
heart beats at 128 beats per minute, John.
Got another This Never Happened release. This one's from Ocula and Paula Hiven. It's called Busy Fallen. This one's a little more my speed than the last one. What about you?
Yeah, I really like this one also. The vocals are just really beautiful, and I do think that I liked this one a little better than the lane 8 one. So
Yeah, I'm just a sucker for like trance or trance house with vocals on it, so
yeah.
it's always going to have a leg up in that situation. Got a new one from Adam Bayer called Desert Queen that goes incredibly hard. You enjoying this one?
I do not care what any techno purist says. Adam Bayer has some bangers, and this one is most definitely one of them.
You could have just stopped it. I don't really care what any techno purist says. All right, got a new one from Underworld called Denver Luna. I'm hearing some Born Slippy DNA in this, and I love it. What about you?
Right, man? Yeah, I really hope that this isn't just like a one-off single, but God, their
Oh,
music
it
is
will
so
be.
neat.
It will be.
Underworld had one of the best sets at Coachella last year, and I remember watching the stream and just oh my God, the people that aren't there are so sad.
Yeah, I forgot they kind of played this year, and that was a surprise when we were going over the lineup. But good for them, man. I feel like they've been releasing not regularly, but we've reviewed a couple songs of theirs in the last year or so now, which is nice.
Yeah.
Got an LPGOB remix of Cruel Summer by Taylor Swift. It's a good remix for a good song. I'm happy for LP for getting that bag. Is this not the wrong time of year to release this?
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. This is a late May, early June kind of track to
Right?
release.
Yeah.
But no, I liked it more than I didn't. I like the original Cruel Summer better, but I threw it on here because I just want to celebrate LPGOB for clearly like doing something right, you know?
Maybe it's always late May in LPGOB's Airstream that she just drives around and DJing from city to city. That's the key.
Right.
All right, got a new one from Capital Cities called Skeleton Man. The lyrics are a little weird, but that's the type of shit that makes this just like super danceable pop rock. And it's fun. I enjoyed it. I really didn't know whether to sort this under indie, dance, rock. I feel like it could have gone in any of those directions, but I put it here. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I really did. I love Capital Cities, man. It's just so electric, so much fun. Hopefully, we have a new album or something coming from them. Is it just me, or is every time I hear the word Skeleton Man, I think of Gabe from The Office?
Feels like a bag of bones.
Get out of here, skeleton man. That's all I kept hearing.
All right, man, we got a new one from Bad Bad Not Good and Charlotte Day Wilson called Sleeper. This one is beautiful. Charlotte's voice is so warm and soothing. I need Gallant to work with Bad Bad ASAP, man. I'm loving everything they've been working on. What about you?
Yeah, so you introduced me to Bad Bad Not Good. Rather, I had heard of them. You made me listen to them for the first time, and I've just
Yes.
loved them ever since. This track is no exception. I think Charlotte Day Wilson was a great choice for vocals on this one. Like you said, this whole thing is just beautiful.
Yeah, they killed it. Got a new one from J Rock and Absol called Blowfly. It's not one of my favorite J Rock tracks. Probably third out of the three that he's released this year, but it's still somehow better than 80% of the rap music that we've reviewed this year. So shout out to him for just being a real rapper still, but I didn't really love the track. What about you?
Yeah, man, this is a sign of the times. I think we only have one entry for rap this week. I think both of their verses are good. Is there a J Rock project dropping soon?
God, I hope so, man. It's been a while. I loved his last album in like 2018 or whenever that came out, but no official word yet, man. I'm still waiting. I'm hoping we're headed that direction, though.
We'll see.
Got a new one from Alkaline Trio. Have not said that on this podcast yet. It is this track's called Blood, Hair, and Eyeballs. They still got it.
Yep.
That's it, man. That's my notes. They still fucking got it, and they are releasing a new album. I think this is the title track. Are you excited?
Yeah, look, man. I missed hearing new Alkaline Trio, and Matt was busy with Blink for so long that he kind of did. I don't want to say ignored Alkaline Trio, but that's kind of what he did. But he kind of belongs with them, man. This band just clearly has so much chemistry together, and yeah, man, I loved this one. I'm excited for the new album.
Same. Another new album I'm excited for is the new one from Mannequin Pussy. We reviewed the title track for it a few weeks ago. I think it's called I Got Heaven. This is the next single, I Don't Know You. A little bit softer than I was expecting.
A little bit.
Yeah, based on the first single, but I really like it, man. You digging it?
That's one of the things I really love about this band, actually, is that they can be just extremely explosive, but then also really show a softer side. Their last album, I forget what it was called. It has Drunk 2 on it. And yeah, they kind of do that as well on their last one. So this one should be good, man. I'm really excited for this one.
Yeah, it comes out March 1st. We will definitely be checking it out.
Oh, it's so long.
I know.
Oh, God.
Got a new one from Idols and LCD Sound System called Dancer. Did this live up to what I assume were your immediate expectations for it?
Yeah, this is my song of the week. I was singing this one all week.
Yes.
You know I love me some Idols. This being
do.
a collaboration between them and LCD, just you can hear what's his name from LCD just going off on the synths during the chorus on this one, man. They were playing together actually during the Reset tour this summer, and I'm glad they're collaborating. That is awesome, and it's nice to hear Idols kind of going back to their brutalism and Joy is an Act of Resistance kind of sound. How'd you liked it?
I did, of course, man. And it's not just Idols and LCD. This is also produced by Nigel Godrich and Kenny Beats. Not a like group of four names that you see together very often. It still sounds like Idols, like you said. I think it just sounds a little bit beefed up, which I really appreciated.
Kenny Beats and Idols has to be the most unlikely collaboration of all time, yet they are just killing it, man.
Keep it coming.
I know you didn't like Crawler quite as much as I did, but I go back to that project every now and then, and I'm like, oh my goodness.
I feel like it's a grower, though.
That's fair. That's fair.
Got a new one from Paint It Black called Safe. You digging it?
Yeah, man. Another single from Paint It Black. There's not much else to say besides this is great, dude. I really love it, and we get to see this awesome cover art again.
I'm gonna cover this song like I'm Guy Fieri. You ready?
Yeah.
When I'm in Philadelphia and I'm hungry for some hardcore punk, I go to Paint It Black, who've been serving it up their way since 2002. Dun-dun-dun.
Thank you so much.
And then just cut to like the fist bump. That's out of bounds, brother. I love it.
Oh, I'm so glad
that's
you like
my
this
triple
shit,
D
man.
review of Paint It Black.
I really love that.
Thank you. All right. Got a new one from Condemned called Valak. Are you digging this?
As you can tell with the singles I've been adding lately, I've been getting even further into the world of slam death metal. Just fucking gargle at me, man. Like,
That's a sentence you really need to be careful saying to people.
are you sure? So I was so there's whenever there's a free speaker at work and I'm just like hanging out by myself, I'll throw our playlist on, and like four people happen to walk in while this song was playing today.
Of course they did.
The mix of reactions. One guy threw up the horns. One guy's eyes were like, "What the fuck?" It was so great.
Did you make unflinching eye contact the entire time?
No, I just pig squealed at him. I'm
Of
just
course
kidding.
you did. If I'm being honest, I'm not feeling this one, but
That's
I know
fair.
you're going through this big brutal metal phase, so I'm gonna be the friend who's having a good time listening to this because I know you're having a good time listening to this. And that's what being a good friend's all about, is it not?
That's why I love you, John.
Exactly. Exactly. Thank you. All right, let's move on to the EPs. We got a few this week, starting with the deluxe edition of Chrome Bowl by Duckworth. I find deluxe editions as a whole to be unnecessary, but I think these tracks work well as an expansion to Chrome Bowl. I also consider Chrome Bowl to be more of an EP than an album, so these tracks just really make it a full length to me now.
Right.
That said, outside of 007, I'm not really loving them, but they are fun to put on. You enjoying them?
I disagree, man. The two double oh
Hit me.
007 mixes I think are great. I prefer the OG mix, the one that ends with it. It's got that jazz
Interesting.
sound to it. Duckworth
I
has a
prefer
way
the
about
Jersey
him.
mix. Interesting.
That's fair. Duckworth just kind of has a way about him, man. Bouncy and lyrical and fun and poppy and like weird all at the same time. Another artist you introduced me to, so thank you.
Yeah, maybe I'm underselling it a bit because I'm desensitized. I feel like he is very unique and not a lot of people blend pop R&B and hip hop in the way that he does.
As well
But
as he does, right?
as well as he does, correct. But this is also a kind of a result of the way we do the podcast. I don't get to sit with some releases as much as I want, and this is one that I feel like got kind of pushed to the back seat in lieu of everything else we had to listen to.
That's fair. That's fair. We did have a lot to go through.
That we did, including a new fucking EP from Paul Van Dyke called Acid Tracks. It's got some other people on there, DJ Pierre, Future. It's a great release. The name really says it all, though. It's Paul Van Dyke and a few friends making some acid tracks. What's not to like? You digging it?
Yeah, man. After a slew of like pretty clear trance singles, we get Paul Van Dyke coming in with his Roland 303 and just destroying things. I just love that instrument, man. It's that
I
unique
know.
is so neat. Like the unique sound is so neat, and to see how many artists have made acid house, acid techno, acid trance with it has just brought my heart joy for so long, man. All three of these tracks are great. Thanks, Paul Van Dyke.
On the topic of acid, stay with me.
Yes.
We never talked about the K Tremine album on air coming with fucking blotter paper.
Oh, it did.
That
Yes.
might be the only release I've ever gotten that came with blotter paper. What about you?
It is the only vinyl record that I have purchased that came with blotter paper. Correct. Yes.
That is fucking crazy. They announced a deluxe edition of it today that comes with like the instrumental version.
I'm not
I'm
interested
happy
in
with
that.
mine. Yeah,
Yeah.
same. I'm happy with mine, but that's cool for people
Hell yeah,
still
man.
who have not got it.
Hell yeah.
All right, moving on. We got a new EP from Aaron Ray called
Are you
Phases
sure?
3. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen an 11 track EP before, but good on Aaron for making the definition of what's considered an album even more confusing. Beyond that, though, man, I thought this was really good. I'll go, I'll even go as far as saying I liked this more than his album that he put out last year. Instead of
Wow.
sounding like he's trying to be great, he just sounds great to me on this. That's something that comes with time, and I think he's arrived there. Are you digging it?
I'm gonna disagree with you a little bit here, my man. I
Hit
think
me.
I think I did with his album last year also. It's maybe it's just not for me. I've heard enough really good R&B over the last couple of years that thanks to you, this doesn't
Sure.
really stand out for me. There are a couple of like catchy vocal melody parts, obviously, but other than that, I just didn't connect with a lot of it, man. I feel like the auto tune shouldn't be used to the extent that it is on this record, and I feel like it took away from a lot of the enjoyment. I think he has a great voice, but I think sometimes he leans on technology to boost what we already kind of know he has. Kind of took away from the
Perhaps.
enjoyment, for me at least.
Perhaps. And I feel like that those are all fair criticisms. He sounds looser to me on this. Like a track like Wet Dream, as cringy as you might think that is, that it's a fun track that like that's the type of shit I think that was missing from his last album. There was This Is Nice, which kind of hit a similar vein, but was a little not overproduced, but a little more serious in tone. I think Wait So Long is the unquestionable standout of this release and should be the one it's remembered for. But as a whole, I think he's in that group of artists like Tone Stith and Zay France, Josh Levi. And I think he's in the upper part of that group, but I totally see if this release did not hit you in the same way. It's an 11 track EP that I probably would not have even put with the EPs if EP wasn't in the fucking title.
I figured that. I figured as much. Do we have an award for longest EP of the year?
We do now.
Right.
We certainly do now. All right. Let's move on. We got a new one from Anna called ADV. Talk to me about this one.
Alrighty, sir. So, is this like big room techno? There's build-ups, there's drops, but it's like all drive, almost no groove. Hardwell did a set of big room techno like this for Ultra a couple years back. If I can find it, I'll throw it in the show notes. Interesting sounds. She's usually much more minimal than this, and she's even got like a ton of releases on Afterlife. This is an interesting EP. Those are my notes. After I wrote my notes, I went back and listened to it again, and I was like, this can't be Anna. And so I think this album got caught in a Spotify glitch. But it's a weird glitch because when you click on her profile, it takes you to the right Anna, or the one that I follow. But
Sure.
if you click on the album, it's a different Anna.
That's really fucking confusing. I don't know.
It's a weird glitch, man, because I went back and I was like, I remember Anna being so much more minimal than this. Like, this seems so out of character for her that I need to research. And I did. It's a weird Spotify glitch. So this Anna that somehow found its way to my release calendar has 468 monthly listeners. This is their only release. It's not bad. Like, I didn't dislike it. But
No, it slaps.
it's the wrong Anna, because the one that I follow has something like 500,000 monthly listeners, has releases on Afterlife and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, this is quite a bit different than that. This is much big
Right.
room hard techno. It slaps, man. Good for
Yeah, it's good.
good for whatever Anna this is. I'll say that. That's my review. All right, let's move on. We got a new EP, Volume 2 by Static Dress. I don't know if we've covered them before, but this is tight. I had to fucking text you with the breakdown on Lie Solution. I was like, dude, what the fuck? This is just bonkers, and I love it. I love that Hail the Sun's on that track. Big surprise, but it's a really good EP. You digging it?
Yeah, man. This is apparently like a Redux thing that they do.
Okay.
We have not covered this band before, but they have found their way onto my radar over this last year. And I really liked their music, so I blind added this on, and then I went back and listened to Lie Solution after we had finalized the playlist, and I was like, God damn.
Of course.
We even get like drum and bass remix of Maybe,
Yep.
which is it's just fantastic. The live version of their track, Sweet, it's really great. Their vocalist sounds good. The last track is the only one I'm kind of iffy on, but they're
Same.
officially on my radar now, and I'm glad you really liked it.
Yeah, good shit. All right, we got a new one from Vinicius and Garduno called Parallel Thoughts 1. I don't know what to say other than it's a Garduno doing what Garduno does, man, making techno bangers.
Right.
Did you dig it?
Yeah, man. He's been kind of bouncing around from label to label lately, and I've been following this record label, Illegal Alien Records, and I saw that Ricardo had a release on there, and I was like, no way. And so I clicked on it, and yeah, it's, the rest was history. It's a crazy little split EP that just does not stop. I'm very excited for Parallel Thoughts too.
I love a good split.
Right.
You ready to talk about the albums?
Oh boy, am I ready.
All right, man. You and I both listened to Blink-182 around the same time, took our notes, but have not talked about it yet. I've been dying to hear your thoughts on this one all week, so please dive in.
I get to go first? All right.
You do. You do.
The return of the legendary Blink-182. An interesting return to form for them. I'm going to start this off by saying I'm actually like a big fan of the work that they did with Matt Skiba. I guess that's like a controversial opinion around Blink fans, but California and Nine are both fantastic. As most white dudes from Southern California in his 30s, I grew up on Blink. They've released some of the most ubiquitous music over the last few decades, and they're currently one of just the biggest bands on the planet right now. This album was obviously inevitable once they got back together with Tom. Starting the album with Anthem Part 3 was pretty bold, and even if I enjoy it less than the other two anthems that we've gotten over the decades, I think this one was good. This is the start of many little fan service moments that we get on this album. I've gone back and forth about this a number of times in my head and with my wife. Is it fan service? Is it derivative? Where's the line with a band like Blink? I think it's kind of both. I think it's both. It's derivative, but it's derivative of themselves. I don't think I wanted them to innovate with new music. I wanted this album, exactly, a crappy punk rock album that has all the moments of a Blink album that I love. We've got shitty commentary on masturbation. We've got songs about love. We've got Tom whining. We've got Travis hitting those drums like they owe him money. Mark laying down bass lines that sound super simple but tend to get more intricate. Look, man, as a Blink fan, I really did like everything on this record. As a modern pop punk fan, I enjoy it, just maybe not as exciting or innovative as some of the modern players. And as a fan of music production, I fucking hate this album. It is muddy, the drums are way too upfront, the auto-tune, like, weirdly placed on some parts are just weird. I'll give them credit. There are a lot of moments where Tom's vocals sound like they do on Cheshire Cat, and I am a big fan of that. Overall, though, I mean, I did like this album. I liked it because I felt like I've known all of these songs even before hearing them for the first time, and that's something that I don't think I've ever quite experienced like that before. It's nostalgic and brand new at the same time, and I think that in and of itself is impressive. This album isn't it's not the perfect Blink album. It's not anywhere near my favorite Blink album. I think I like Turpentine the best. And I'm going to give it a 6, somewhere between a 6 and a 7. It was good. I don't know what my favorite one is. Is it Take Off Your Pants and Jacket? Is it self-titled? It's one of those.
It's self-titled. I love you. I disagree with so much of it. I'm just going to get straight into it here.
Do it.
Anthem Part 3, thumbs up. Good start. Drums sound great. Tom says, "Yed, I'm in." Dance With Me, thumbs down. Verses Have Grown on Me, still hate the hook. Fell in Love, thumbs down. Could Grow on Me, hasn't yet. Terrified, thumbs up. Little different for them, but I like it. One More Time, thumbs up. What it means outweighs it being too on the nose. More Than You Know, thumbs up. My standout, exactly what I've been waiting for since self-titled. Turn This Off interlude, thumbs up. These dumb interludes make it feel like old Blink. When We Were Young, thumbs down. The music on this one is great. The lyrics are not edging. Still thumbs down. Just does not work for me. They sound like they're just trying too hard to be edgy, pun intended. You Don't Know What You've Got, thumbs down. Travis is doing everything in his power to save this one. It's just not happening. Blink Wave, thumbs down. It's a good Angels and Airwaves song. Bad Blink song. Bad News, thumbs down. I want to like it. Really do. Just don't. Hurt interlude, thumbs down. They're letting Tom cook a little too much here. Turpentine, thumbs down. I'm not sure who this is aimed at or for. It's weird. I'm glad you liked it for being different. That I just did not. Fuckface, thumbs up. I wish there was a lot more of this on the album. Other Side, thumbs down. Underwhelming, forgettable, childhood, thumbs down. Ambitious, but a little too late. So in the end, that's 6 thumbs up, 11 thumbs down. The math on that is 3.5. I don't think it's quite that bad. I'm going to round up to 4. We can even say 4 or 5 if we're being generous. My standout is More Than You Know. I had to go with the hard math on this one based on my gut feeling.
Honestly, yeah, I love that.
And that's just what it shook out to.
No, man, that's super fair. I think there is obviously an expectation when a band as big as Blink gets one of their lead singers back, and I think that I just went into it excited, and because I heard so much of the old stuff, I think I liked it a little bit more than you. And honestly, that's fucking awesome, man. I'm glad you didn't like it.
Yeah, I mean, I sat with it. There's moments I did, but again, it's just I feel like I'm gonna forget much more of it than I'll ever return to. But it had a few returns to form on it for sure.
Here's the deal. I think they are probably not going to play a lot of these songs live because nobody going to see them wants to hear these. So
Yeah,
it's more of just a reason to tour, I guess.
I think One More Time will be played live. Maybe Anthem 3, maybe More Than You Know. I can't imagine too many of the others. Oh, maybe the Ole Ole one. I could see them doing that one live
Yeah,
too.
that's a good one.
All right, you ready to move on?
Let's do it.
Okay, let's put our carabiners down and get back to other music. We got a new one from Martin Solveig called Back to Life. Did you dig this one?
Surprise, I think. Were we expecting this? I don't think I was.
I don't. I don't think we were. I didn't see it on any of my release calendars.
As is tradition for Mr. Solveig, we have a house record. It's full of catchy hooks, poppy records, earworm melodies, and just packed with fun. He does throw a few down-tempo tracks on this record, just for fun, I guess, for him. Whenever I just needed some lighthearted music this week, man, this album was my go-to. It's just, he has a way of making music that just makes me have fun, I guess. Every time I hear him, I reminisce about the Coachella set I saw with my wife and watching him just tear up the Sahara tent in the middle of the day. I don't think that this is my favorite album of his by any means, but I didn't hate it, and I did go back to it a number of times. What'd you think about it?
Respect to you and your wife, but I did not like this album, man.
Fair.
This album is not bad because the music is bad. It's bad because it's aggressively generic. It tries nothing and it accomplishes nothing. His singles are usually fine, but hearing this many of his tracks in a row just solidifies how bland the overall scope of his music is to me. Maybe I'm being slightly unfair by looking for the same level of creativity in a pop album as I would in some more complex formats of dance music. But I stand by it because I know Martin is capable of making music much better than this. Even though I've never really been a big fan, I know he made a name for himself, not just by having some big radio singles, but by being a great live act, like you said.
Right.
Unfortunately, none of that translates to me on the album. By its nature, there's some moments on here that are undeniably catchy, but not quite enough to make it good for me. I'm going to give this one a 3. My standout is Bite Size.
Interesting. Okay. I actually didn't say my score. My score is a 5. I liked it a lot. It just isn't, it is what it is. But you have obviously very valid points. I think my standout was Coffee at Tiffany's. I like that track.
Fair. Yeah, you've always been a bigger Solveig fan than me.
Always.
Is it him and Jax Jones that are Europa?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah, that's my area of Solveig fandom. Find me there.
That's fair, man. Yeah. I do recommend if you happen to be at a festival that he's at and you have a free 25-30 minutes, go check him out because he does have a great live act.
I would definitely check him out live. I think he would be a lot of fun live.
He definitely is.
All right, let's talk about this new Sampha album, Lahai. This is not a perfect album, but there's some moments on it that are as close to perfect as you can get. Case in point being Dancing Circles and Suspended. Pretty much the whole first half of the album in general. I like how he took a more icy approach to the contrast of his overwhelming natural warmth in his voice. I feel like it created this kind of foggy dissonance on the album that I really enjoyed, and at times could almost feel. He's always been a great singer and a great musician and a great songwriter, and there's been times in the past where he's put all of those things together in a way that showed how great he can be. His song Reverse Faults off of his last album, I think, is a great example of that. But I found his last album to be slightly more inconsistent as it relates to my personal taste than this one is. The quality never dips, but my interest in level and engagement decreases a little bit as this one moves into the third act. But like I said, that's not due to a dip in quality. I feel like some of the songs on the back half of this album will grow on me a lot more as I continue to listen to them. But for now, I'm still stuck admiring the first half of it. I'm going to give it a 7.5. My standout is Dancing Circles, which I told you to give the proper headphone listen to. I hope you did. What did you think of this album?
So I have to say it, John. You
Yes.
were right. I
Thank you.
think I was weird about these singles, man, and I think that's because I didn't really like understand them as standalone tracks. This album is great. Let's get that out of the way right now. It's artsy, it's cohesive, and most of all, it has like a ton of textures and like atmospheric elements that lay a hand to kind of how weird I took the singles. It
Yeah.
was like looking at just like the corner of a painting, I didn't get it, but so tracks like Dancing
I like
Circles
that.
have this like piano lead with chopped up vocal samples and Sampha's voice over the top of it, and it just does something, man. Tracks like Suspended have this like level of soul that I really haven't heard in a long time. One that
Beautiful.
really took me by surprise, though, was Can't Go Back. On the first listen, I was like, is this my thing? But like by the third and fourth listen, I was hooked, man. It's so catchy. It's a
Yep.
clear earworm. I love the UK garage and breakbeat instrumentals that he utilizes on a number of the tracks, but I think it's done especially well on What If You Hypnotize Me. I think it's just utilized very selectively on that one.
Yeah.
I think he could have chosen another track for the closer. Rose Tint is just kind of a weird choice, but I'll say I did really, really enjoy this album, and going in without any expectations, as is tradition, really elevated what I thought about it. I'm actually going to give this one an 8. My standout is Suspended. That is my favorite track on the album. I will tell you,
Yes.
I will agree with you that the first half of this album is a little bit better than the second half, but there are still, like I said, like that breakbeat breakdown and What If You Hypnotize Me, like there's moments on the back half that really
No, you're
keep me
right. Yeah.
engaged.
You're right. Can't Go Back and What If You Hypnotize Me are two of my favorites on the back half. And Only, I think, is a great single in the context of the album. We
Yep.
both didn't really get it as a single, but man, yeah, it really all comes together. I'm glad you appreciated it, man. An 8 is probably the correct score that I will come to once I'm done just getting through this and fully digesting it. But I was like you, man. I was like, huh, these are interesting singles. We'll see how they fit. But man, when I gave it the first full listen through, when I got through Suspended, I was like, is this a 10? Like, what the fuck is going on? It didn't quite settle there, but it is amazing nonetheless. And
It's
I'm
a great
glad
record, man.
glad he made you a fan, man.
Yeah, he most definitely did.
All right, let's move into this next album. It's the new one from Knuckle Puck called Losing What We Love. I feel like you could probably copy and paste my review for State Champ's last album for this one. It's just really good, straightforward pop punk that's catchy. It's well written. It's familiar without being too derivative. After hearing the album in full, I still think the singles are the best songs on it, which should be the case, but there's some strong album cuts on here too, like A New Beginning in October, a few more as well. I'm going to give this one a 6.5, maybe a 7. My standout is The Tower. How are you feeling about it?
John, the pop punk these last couple of years has just been exquisite. I just wanted to take a moment and
It
just
has.
appreciate the era that we're in. We've been documenting this scene and reviewing many of the smaller bands, along with some of the rising stars. But I think that Knuckle Puck is actually one of the bigger players right now. They have quickly been
I
rising in
agree.
the charts, and this album is going to keep cementing them as a force to be reckoned with. If somebody told me that The Tower was released in 2006, I would believe them. It's got that sound. I was listening to a
It
lot of the
does.
older emo and pop punk of like the late 90s and early 2000s recently, and there's this like intangible thing that they all possess. I think Knuckle Puck has it. It could be like the passion and the delivery of the vocals, it could be the chords that they choose, it could be, I don't know, like having a good drummer, but it's probably all of those things. The singles we got were obviously great and they're obviously standouts, but the album cuts here, like in my opinion, it's so funny you named a number of different album cuts, but mine were Act Accordingly and Better
Of
Late.
course.
Could have just been singles if they wanted them to be, man. I really do like this album, and with how much pop punk we've gotten over the last couple of years, they have managed to make themselves stand out, in my opinion. It's good stuff. I'm going to give it a 7. My standout is Groundhog Day.
I feel like there's an album every year, especially the past 2 or 3 years that we've been doing this, and it's always pop punk that I review as like a 7, and then like a month or two later I listen to it and I'm like, God damn, that's fucking amazing. I know that this is going to be that amazing. It was the Wonder Years album last year for those wondering.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that was a
man,
great album.
it's just impossible to digest all of this in real time. I like that you and I are very transparent about this. Our
Right.
scores are always the moment that we're saying the review, that is our score. They could change by the time we're done with the podcast, honestly.
None of these points matter, but
No, no.
It's
Um,
they're snapshots in time, if you will.
it's a really good album, man. Shout out Knuckle Puck. I agree with you. They are definitely one of the major players in this current era, and this era is maybe the best era of pop punk since the early 2000s. So
Yep.
good for them. All right, we got one last album this week, and what a fucking album it is. It's the new one from Dreamwell, In My Saddest Dreams, I Am Beside You. I'm not going to pretend for 1 minute that this album does not absolutely rip. I was hoping that'd be the case after you showed me them a few weeks ago with Blight Town type beat, but you can never tell if a whole album is going to be as good as a single. They quickly put that worry to rest by opening the album with an incredible run of songs and followed it up with more incredible songs. It's weird that more bands don't make albums just full of all incredible songs like this. But not only are the songs great, man, why not more? The sequencing on this album is perfect. Everything flows together so smoothly that it's hard to imagine hearing these songs in any other order after you've heard the album in full. It's one of those that I need to listen to front to back every time. I can't listen to Good Reasons and not follow it up with Studying the Greats and so on and so on. It just would not, it just wouldn't be right, man. To make an album this good and this cohesive and this fresh is an incredible achievement. They deserve a lot of respect for pulling this off. I still need to go back to their older albums and catch up with that discography, but this is the one that made me a fan. I've listened to it every day since it dropped, man. I'm giving it a 9. My standout is Blight Town type beat. Love it. What about you?
I am so glad you like it so much, man. Look, man, call it melodic hardcore, call it post-hardcore, call it fucking screamo, whatever the fuck you want. It just rips all the way through, man. Like you said, we get like this, like that intro to the album. If you like played the intro to the album to somebody, they'd be like, "Oh, we're in for like some American football kind of music," and then just destruction. And I really liked this album, man. I think the features they used and a number of different moments on the album were great. I think Blight Town type beat was insane, but there, like you said, there's not a bad song on this album, man. I think Studying the Greats and Self-Immolation might be my favorite. It's the one that if I want to hear a Dreamwell song, I go back to it this week. But you're right, it's a real quick listen. It's actually not too quick now that I think about it. 45 minutes, but it feels quick because it's just so fast paced, man. I really liked this one, man. Obelisk of Hands is fucking great.
Lord have mercy.
Oh God. Body Fountain. The entirety of this album is fucking great, and they deserve a lot more monthly listeners than they have. Currently they're at 9,900, just under 10K, and yeah, man, this album fucking rips. I think this is their sophomore album, and I think they have finally solidified what their sound is going to be, and I cannot wait to hear more. But until then, I will continue to bump this one. I think my standout is Studying the Greats and Self-Immolation. I'm going to give this one an 8.5, somewhere between 8 and a 9.
Dude, it's fucking great. I feel like I've had a good grasp on my like rock albums of the year, my favorite ones, and I've gotten a few new entries over summer, but this one and the Koyo one are really shaking things up late in the year here. I'm loving them.
Yep, I'm so glad you are, man.
All right, that does it for us this week. Join us next week when we will be breaking down new releases from King Gizzard, Taking Back Sunday, The Kills, DJ Shadow, Black Pumas, and much, much more. You can find us on Instagram and Reddit. Just search Brandon's Face Pod. Don't forget to follow along with the playlist that this podcast is based on if you aren't already. You can find the link to that in the show notes. We'll see y'all next week.
Peace.